Greetings all, myself Swathi Krishnan, Assistant Professor, Department of Optometry, Yenepoya School of Allied Health Sciences, Yenepoya deemed to be University. Today I'll be talking on optics of the ocular structure. Specific learning objective. At the end of the session, student will be able to explain optical structure of the eye, explain how eye acts as a camera, describe cardinal points of the eye, explain schematic and reduced eye, and describe visual angles of the eye. As an optical instrument, the eye is well compared to a camera, with the retina acting as a unique kind of film. The focusing system of eye is composed of several refractive structures, which include cornea having a refractive index of 1.376, aqueous humor 1.336, crystalline lens 1.42, and vitreous humor 1.336. So these constitutes a homocentric system of lenses which when combined in action form a very strong refractive system of a short focal length. The total dioptric power of the eye, that is plus 60 diopter, out of which about plus 44 diopter constitutes from the cornea and plus 16 diopter is from the crystalline lens. Now how eye acts as a camera. In the eye, if you see the different structures, eyelid acts as shutters of camera, cornea and crystalline lens acts as lenses, cornea, lens, aqueous and vitreous humor forms a very strong refractive system of short focal length. Iris acts as a diaphragm which regulates the size of aperture, that is compared to the pupil in the eye, that it's the amount of light, it controls the amount of light entering the eye. Choroid helps in forming the darkened interior of the camera, and the retina acts as light sensitive plate where image is formed. So how eye functions as an optical system. So normally when we see an image on the retina, we get an inverted image. We see an inverted image, and once it passes through the visual pathway, through the optic nerve, once it reaches the brain, you get an everted image. So an inverted image converts to a everted image. Now same thing happens with the camera. First on the color TV camera you get an inverted image, and when it gets transferred to the signal cable on the monitor you see a straight image. Now coming to the cardinal points of the eye. For the easiness of explaining the cardinal points, first came the schematic eye. And in the schematic eye, the Gullstrand have described the cardinal points as follows. So the total dioptric power is plus 58 diopter, of which cornea contributes plus 43 diopter and the lens is plus 15 diopter. The principal foci, that is F1 and F2, lie 15.7 mm in front and 24.4 mm behind the cornea. The principal points P1 and P2 lie in the anterior chamber 1.35 mm and 1.60 mm behind the anterior surface of the cornea. The nodal points N1 and N2 lie in the posterior of lens 7.08 mm and 7.33 mm behind the anterior surface of the cornea respectively. Now to simplify this explanation of cardinal points, Liston had introduced the reduced eye, and it explains a single principal point and single nodal point lying midway between the two principal foci and the two nodal points. So this is called Listing's reduced eye, the simplified data actually. So here the total dioptric power will be plus 60 diopter. The principal point P lies 1.5 mm behind the anterior surface of the cornea, and the nodal point N is situated in the anterior surface of the cornea. The anterior focal point is 15.7 mm in front of the anterior surface of the cornea. The posterior focal point is 24.4 mm behind the anterior surface of the cornea. The anterior focal length is 17.2 mm and the posterior focal length is 22.9 mm. Now coming to the axis and visual angles of the eye. So the different axes of the eye terminologies are, first is optical axis. So it is the line passing to the center of the cornea, denoted as capital letter P, center of the lens denoted as N, and meets the retina on the nasal side of the fovea. Visual axis is the line joining the fixation point O, nodal point N, and the fovea F. The fixation axis is the line joining the fixation point O and the center of rotation denoted as C. Now coming to the visual angles, the different angles formed are angle alpha. It is the angle ONA formed between the optical axis AR and the visual axis OF at the nodal point N. Angle gamma is the angle OCA between the optical axis AR and the fixation axis OC at the center of rotation of the eye, denoted as C. And the angle kappa is the angle OPA formed between the visual axis and pupillary line. The point P on the center of cornea is considered equivalent to the center of pupil. So this is the figure showing different axes of the eye. Optical axis, you can see AR, visual axis OF, fixation axis OC, and the visual angle alpha between the optical axis and visual axis, and angle gamma between the optical axis and pupillary line. So coming to the summary, the human eye works as an optical system enabling vision by focusing light on the retina. The main optical components include cornea, which is the primary refractive surface that bends most of the incoming light, lens, which provides fine adjustment of focus light, that is accommodation, iris and pupil, which regulate the amount of light entering the eye, and the retina, the light sensitive layer that converts light into electrical signals. For simplifying the optical system, schematic and reduced eye models are introduced. The visual angle is the angle subtended by an object at the eye, measuring its apparent size. Visual angle is crucial in determining resolution and the eye's ability to perceive fine details. So this is my reference. Thank you.